Hey everybody, welcome to a Wednesday edition of Box Seats. This is the show where sports actually meets comedy. I am your host, Frank Holder. I'm stuck here with comedians known as Talent and the comedians known as Fig. These guys have been in the comedy business for a long time. They are what you would call comedy pros, comedy professionals. That's the right word? That'd be the right word?
I like comedy connoisseur.
Okay, I like that. Comedy connoisseur. How about that? Comedy connoisseur. All right, with that being said, this is the show where we talk sports with comedy and everything else. And as we say all the time, we got to get ready to jump into the show. So with that being said, I'm going to start off the show real quick with the COVID report. COVID report hasn't really changed much, except with the Kansas City Chiefs might have two more players who will jump on their COVID report of might not being able to play. Kansas City going to release some news. But yesterday they had their center, Daniel Kilgore, and wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, who is in COVID-19 protocol. So, like I said, like yesterday, Kansas City Chiefs can't lose any more players with COVID because, especially on their offensive line, that'd be pretty scary, for them. Now, moving on. This is the thing we were talking about yesterday. Okay, remember yesterday we were talking about the Angels pitching coach Mickey Callaway. He had sexual assault allegations placed against him, but there were no charges, things like that. Well, when we got off the air yesterday, because we do the show in the middle of the day, he literally got suspended. Literally maybe 30 minutes after we got off the air, he got suspended. And then more details. Some of the details that came out was cringeworthy. I'm going to start with you, Talent, and say some of the reporters said while he was trying to interview with them, he was in his crotch area in front of them while he was doing the interview, which really blew my mind. If he's doing an interview and he's in his crotch area, why didn't the film of this come out? So it'll be like 5 years ago. 4 years ago, if he's leaning his crotch towards you and you're trying to do an interview, why all of a sudden it's coming out now? I'm like, man, this just sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. What's your thoughts, Talent?
First of all, the word crotch is always going to be funny. It's crotch towards you. Because it's like, it's not as vulgar as the actual genitalia or the slang of it. And it's not as polite as peck or something like that. But crotch is a funny word. But this is how it always happens, Frank. When the accusations come out and the story initially breaks, it's always more to come. It's always something that, and Fig said that yesterday on another show, it's like, it's always something else that lead to the thing we see first. The thing we see first is always like, oh my God, I'm sexually assaulted. This is the person, he violated me. And you'll get like the general story. And then, of course, that's what you always hear people say, well, we're going to open our investigation. And when they start to, all that is me, we're asking questions. And we're going to find out, like Fig said, where did this start? What was the conversation before this? What was the acts before this that led to this? So crotch leaning explains a lot.
All right, Fig, check it out. I'm gonna start this by saying, before I throw it to you, I'm gonna start this to say real fast. The chicks all five of them said that he was unrelenting. He would not stop with the pictures and the leaning forward and showing his crotch area to them, and that all came out after the lotion thing was the first thing yesterday, but now it just started, more and more came out. What's your thoughts?
The fact that you said he was leaning forward with his crotch and then turned around and said more and more came out. That's probably why they didn't want no part of him. Crotch leaning? I've never heard of a crotch leaning. I heard of a crotch hanging to one side or the other. But crotch leaning, is that what we're doing now?
Hey, bro, I'm looking for this
man. Yeah, listen, I don't know what's behind this, but see, like, usually with me, I always follow the money because this guy has had this job for a while, and I just wonder why it's coming out now because clearly there are no criminal charges here. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to jail or anything like that. So what is the point? Are they out for? I just wonder what. Here's the thing. I'm waiting for the class action suit because these 5 women to get together. They're going to hire an attorney and they're going to try and get some money from this guy because that's the only thing I can see because he's not going to jail. You can't go to jail for sending a picture of your body the top half of your body, even whether you have a shirt on or not, to anybody. That's not illegal. And why did you give him your number? That's what I want to know. Back to that again. If you didn't want to make any kind of communication with him, why did you give him your phone number?
You know what?
Hey, what if he wasn't leaning? What if he's just the proud and down? What if he just was standing there?
You know what? Here's the thing that blows me away. If he was conducting an interview with them and he was supposedly leaning forward, there should be some video of that, right? That's what I'm saying. I mean, there should be some video of that. Why haven't we not seen this? Why all of a sudden it came out?
Because it borders on porn if you show his crotch leaning.
Yeah, but my point is that it would have came out years ago. Look at this Major League Baseball manager doing this. He's leaning forward with this interview. You know what I mean? Like that would have came out years ago. Why would it? I don't know, man.
Because it's like I agree with Fig. Is follow the money. I think that if you're really, and this is the problem I have with the whole hashtag Me Too and the sexual assault thing and the nitpicking of it, if it's real and you're offended or borderline traumatized or feel some sort of way, then there's a proper protocol. But if you wait years and years until somebody else say, now again, once you got 4 or 5, you got a class action suit. Right. Now you got these guys on 3 ways and 4 ways. Like, girls, all right, so this is how we're gonna do. Let's put the game plan together. Because right now, with the first part of the accusation, there's no gag order yet. There's no nothing like that. So we can actually get together and put a plan together.
Yo, that's a great point. That's a great point because that's exactly what these attorneys are probably all getting ready to do right now. Everybody trying to make sure they all on the same plan. They all saying the same thing. They all getting the same thoughts together. I mean,
Fig is disgusting. Gag order. I already know.
Yo, man, I'm trying to say this is a family show. Y'all always want to do this.
Listen, listen.
Yo, Fig, y'all always make me do this.
Yo, but I'm sitting there saying to myself, what is he laughing at? Because I'm serious, right? But then I said, you said gag one.
Frank talking about crotches in the face, crotch leaning. Talent comes up with the gag order. I'm like, yo, this stuff writes itself. You have to go with it. Yo,
no, but I mean, until they go to court, that's the case. Like, until you stand in front of a judge, there's nobody to say, hey, don't talk to the media. Right. Everybody has a non-disclosure, gag, whatever. They have none of that right now. Right now, it's an accusation splattered on the wall, and then everybody calls each other. Girl, you too. So say this because this happened to me, and blah blah blah. And they're in cahoots. In other words.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I definitely have to agree.
It's splattered on the wall now. Huh?
I knew it. I knew it.
All right, let's move on.
Okay. All right.
In other news, I found out last night. I read an article last night that ESPN posted that Andre told Simmons, he's a shortstop for, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. He's a shortstop for the LA Angels. He literally had suicide thoughts and that was the reason why he came out and said last night in an article that was published on ESPN. He said he opted out. For those of you who don't know, last year, obviously, or this past season, whatever you want to call it, Major League Baseball told people they were getting ready to go into the bubble for the playoffs and everything else. They were getting ready to contemplate that. He opted out 2 weeks before the LA Angels were about to go to the playoff. They were in a playoff push. He said he wanted to walk away basically because he felt for his family and everything else. But then he came on out on the article that he wrote last night and said, no, the truth of the matter really was, I'm sorry I let my players, my friends down and the team and everything else, but I was having suicidal thoughts. And of course, the reporters were saying, what was your suicidal thought? I did not want to go into a bubble because I didn't feel I had the right frame of mind, and I thought I was going to harm myself. Now, we've had these conversations before about what the NBA players did, I'm gonna put this out to you. You think he was just saying that? Because I don't see. He didn't even get to the bubble yet. He didn't even go to the bubble yet. He just said I was thinking about going to the bubble and I wanted to harm myself. What's your thoughts when you hear that?
That always blows my mind. Like, I don't care if it's sports or not. And I don't know why I can't wrap my brain around suicidal thoughts. Like, what is that? Like, if you're having suicidal thoughts, there has to be something that's leading to you having suicidal thoughts. So to me, that's the real problem. What are the problems and the issues in your life that are leading you to, you know what, I don't want to be here, because I don't think when people think suicide, I don't think it's more so of you want to hurt yourself, because hurting yourself, you can hurt yourself and still be here. I think you don't want to be here. So what is that's making you not want to be here?
Yeah, I definitely agree. You know what blows my mind? I'm gonna say this both to you all. What blows my mind is because I'm not a multimillionaire like these players. Whenever I hear a person who's a multimillionaire says to themselves, I want to check out, I want to be here, I'm having suicide, that always blows my mind. I just can't wrap my mind around that. And my wife gets on me about that all the time. That's just a thought I always have. But anyway, Fig, when you hear that about a player having suicidal thoughts because he didn't want to go, again, he didn't even get to the bubble yet. He was on his way to the bubble, and he opted out 2 weeks before that. When you hear about that, what's your thoughts, Fig?
I mean, you have to realize that mental health is a big issue here in America. I mean, it's something that that I guess it's like a taboo to speak about it and stuff like that. Now we're having a few people come out because it seems to be a little more acceptable, but mental health issues was something that was always swept under the rug. It was like, don't talk about it, keep it in-house. It's like, as an individual, what you can do and what you can't do, and what you can put up with and what you can't put up with. And these are the things that, cross your mind. Like, like some people have phobias, and maybe this was a phobia that this guy had, talking about, look, I cannot be in an enclosed situations where I can't go out and about and intermingle with people, how I want to. I'm not going to be able to thrive in a bubble type situation. That's the only thing I can think of.
You hit the nail right on the head. I think it was a phobia, like how people have those phobias about getting in elevators and those type of things. He might have thought in his mind that he's going to be closing a 2x4 and he can't get out. Now, I wanted to mention that because I thought it was a huge story, but I want to get past it now because it's a downer. It brings the whole thing down. So let's get past that. Let's now move on to a brighter note. I got to bring in something that I thought was one of the most phenomenal stories I've ever heard in the NBA. I don't care how you look at it. I mean, we know we talk about Michael Jordan. We know we talk about some big things. But for those of you who don't know, you just saw the light. You see the limelight like right now. Fred VanVleet, he hit 11 3-pointers last night. Now, here's why it was amazing. He was an undrafted free agent, meaning he didn't even be in the NBA draft. He climbed his way up to the G League, then he climbed his way up to make it on the team, and then he climbed his way up to be a starter for the Toronto Raptors. Then this dude ends up hitting 54 points for the Toronto Raptors. Now, we all heard some amazing stories about high school players making it to the NBA, but Talon, I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't think of a bigger story than that. I don't care how you shape it up. I can't think of nothing bigger than that.
I remember watching a game in the playoffs, and like he was on fire this game. This is before they got the chip. But I was, wherever bar I was in, I was screaming out his last name, making it sound funny. And people were so mad and tired of me. Like every shot he did, I was like, VanVleet! And they were in the bar like, will you sit the hell down? And then fast forward a season, here's this guy making his due, like making his mark in the game, commanding this big contract and all that. Hats off to VanVleet, man. VanVleet, I, for the same reason you just said, to watch somebody, I'm an underdog fan. When Tyson was fighting Holyfield, everybody went Tyson. I went Holyfield. I've always been like that. Give me the underdog all day, every day. It's a better story by far. Hats off and 2 thumbs up to VanVleet. I love it. Epic.
Yeah, I love it too. I'm a huge underdog fan too, especially when you ain't supposed to make it. And we all know everybody counted him out because he's short. Everybody counted him out because he's not the fastest. Everybody counted him out because he supposedly wasn't the best handler with the basketball. Dude worked on all his skills. Now he can handle the ball. He can shoot the rock. He can defend. He can do everything. He deserves that contract, Fig. Talk to me.
Hey, listen, the only thing that he cannot overcome is the fact that when you see his name on a piece of paper, you just kind of pass it off. VanVleet. All the coaches was looking at, at their paper, about who's going to try out for the team. You got, Lowry, Iguodala, all these dudes. Then you see Van Vliet. You're like, he ain't going to be no good. This Van Vliet. And, he wasn't even no good in college. He wasn't good in high school. We don't need to talk about no Van Vliet. Then he goes out there and he starts performing. And Van Vliet, quiet as kept. People give Kawhi Leonard all the credit for winning that championship in Toronto, man. But Van Vliet balled out that whole series, man. He was knocking down big-time shots, man. This is not the first time that Van Vliet has come alive. You know what I mean? People talk about Kyle Lowry. They was talking about Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? But Van Vliet was the dude who really balled out during that series. So I'm not surprised that he was able to do this. Big kudos to the underdog.
Listen, let's be honest. Van Vliet stepped up to the plate during the NBA Finals. He made a name for himself. He's also the reason why I think they got rid of, was it DeMar DeRozan? They made a major trade during the season. You know what I mean? And they ended up winning the NBA Finals because of that dude. They had a diamond in the rough. They didn't even know they had that. And then this dude he kept getting better and better and better. I could talk about this dude for an hour because I love hearing stories like this, bro.
He's going down in the history books with that name. You got Dick Van Dyke and Fred Van Vliet. look, and you got Jeff Van Gundy.
The Vans have it. Hey, listen, and he's light skinned too.
Oh yeah, let's give him that. Let's give him that. All right, in the NBA, let's continue on with the NBA, man. We got to talk about a game last night that I was looking forward to, man. I saw the Brooklyn Nets game versus the LA Clippers game. I actually watched this game because I was waiting for the Celtics Golden State Warriors game. Now I'm going to say this right now. They have the best shooters. They have the thing and everything else. They got the team and everything else. But talent, I swear to you, if they don't get better, bro, they are not going to win. They allowed the Clippers to play so many games on back-to-back and still came back and almost beat them. They don't look like the powerful team to me. And the reason being to me is they're playing, maybe it's because they're playing out of position. Kyrie didn't handle the ball the most. You know, it just looked discombobulated. And I will say this, for the record, you could put me down for this one right now. They are horribly coached. Put me down for that. Horribly coached. Horribly. So, but that's just what's your thoughts?
I stand by what I say. I think that these are what we call tester games. I will say today, at the first week of February, by mid-February, we won't be talking the same way about the Brooklyn Nets. In 2 weeks, we will definitely be on a different swing of conversation on the box seats when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to be done with testing and filling out who can do what, who needs the ball when, and all those type of things. I'm telling you, man, the bait and switch is on. I stand by it, Frank. I'm telling you.
Okay, you saying the bait and switch. Fig, I'm going to throw this ball to you right now. I'm passing you the rock, and I'm going to say this. You watch basketball like I watch basketball. Tell me you saw some of the same stuff I saw. Tell me, maybe I'm tripping. Tell me what you saw.
I'll tell you this. The thing that scared me the most is that it looked like they were playing defense, but it just like they weren't really like getting stops. But I'll tell you this. I got to give an apology to the Brooklyn Nets because I really realized their record against teams that are over 500 with 7-2. Now with the win last night is 8-2. You know what that tells me? It tells me when the good teams come to play, they pretty much beating them. They're beating the good teams. Now, can they continue to play like this for a 7-game series and beat a good team 4 out of 7 times? I'm not sure with this level of defense. I think they need to get a little bit better, but I'll tell you this. Maybe they can't stop people to when they're supposed to. But I'll tell you on the flip side, who can stop them? Kyrie went off last night. KD went off last night. James Harden got a triple-double last night. KD scored like 30 points on maybe like 14 shots, 12, 14 shots. He's like the most efficient scorer in the NBA. It's just like, who are you going to stop? You know, because when the time comes down to it, you need to double team somebody. Which one are you going to double team?
Fig, I don't mean to interrupt your soliloquy, but I will say this. That's the word for the day. I will say this, bro.
You got to pronounce it right first, Frank.
I pronounced it right. You just didn't hear it right. Your internet's messed up. I said soliloquy. That's what I meant.
No, it's soliloquy.
Whatever. I said the same thing right. But let me say this. Let me throw this out there. Tell me in the last 2 minutes of the game, you did not think the Clippers was going to come back and win that game. When you saw that game, you was watching it live. Tell me you didn't have those thoughts because the Clippers kept coming back. They were down by 7. They kept coming back. And next thing you know, you turn around within 15 seconds, they were down by 1. You didn't think that?
Not me. I really didn't because
okay.
I mean because Harden was doing what he was doing. Kyrie was in his bag, and KD could get a shot off anytime he wants. I thought that the last game that they lost to Washington, I thought that was a fluke. It was a mistake at the end of the game. I thought that one was a fluke. Last night I watched, but I watched just like everybody else. I was like, these guys, because just yesterday I said, no defense, no ring. That's my position. I watched closely last night. I'm like, how are you going to stop these guys?
Okay, I will hold you to that challenge. Did you watch the end of the game last night? And like me and Fig watched, did you see how tight it was getting back and forth? And did you notice? Here's the thing I didn't even mention. Did you notice how Kyrie body? I forgot what you call it, the body. His the way his body movement was. Did you notice how he was acting when they kept missing shots and he wasn't getting the ball on the
way? His body language was given. Yeah, he almost had a quick body language. His body language was he was like really like exasperated, like it was over before it was over. He was giving up.
Yeah,
he was giving up.
That's what I thought. I was like, you know what? But maybe that's me. But anyway, let me.
But Frank is right though. They pretty much when they're going to be clicking, they're unstoppable. KD is what we call in basketball at will. Right. You know what I mean? You can't really defend him. You gotta pray and hope he miss.
Yeah, that's true. I will give you that. But definitely. You still got to bring the ball up. You still got to play defense. You got to still, run the plays. And James Harden, he almost blew the game for them last night with the turnovers he had late in the game, and then the mystery. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you should be passing the ball to KD and let him shoot the shot. I don't care what nobody says. KD needs to shoot the last. He's the best of those three. He needs to shoot the ball. And why they didn't give him the ball the last 2 or 3 times is beyond me. That's why I said this is horrible coaching. Because if I'm the coach, that's what I'm like. Listen, we drop plays, have KD swing out on the top of the wing, let him shoot his jumper, let him shoot his 3, and let's call it a game. Let's go home. That's what I would have did. 3 plays in a row. He didn't even touch the ball, bro.
The coach should say this exactly. He should say, "You're all 3 great stars. I recognize that, but this is not Boston, Kyrie. All right, and this is not Houston, Harden. KD takes that final shot.
Bingo.
That's it.
And I'm drawing up the plays like this. KD gonna come around the top. He gonna do that, and he gonna do and pass him the ball. That's what I would. That's what I would do. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about this. After the game. You know how they have the round table with the guys and everybody else, they talk and everything else. D Wade said to me, which was one of those comments that you go, I don't know what you watching, but let me just throw it out there and see what he said. He said LeBron James is playing his best he's ever played in his 18, 20-year career. He's never seen him play this good. He's balling out, and as a 36-year-old player, he said point blank, he's basically a beast and he's unstoppable, and he should be the MVP. Now, I wanted to, this is one of the moments when you want to throw something at the TV and say, you ain't seeing Bradley Beal play, bro? Like, what you watching? Like, Bradley Beal in 25 games, he's setting NBA records, and the only person who's ever compared to him in 25 games scoring wise is Michael Jordan. So I don't know what you're watching, or if you doing the pom-poms for your boy, for LeBron.
Well, that's his boy. He's gonna say, come on. That's like asking somebody, mom. Their kid is always gonna be the best. The mother of Randy Brown. Mm-hmm. Remember Randy Brown? Chicago Bulls. His mom thought he was better than Jordan. Yeah. That's his mom. That's his mom. She's supposed to say that. Now here's the real deal. Here's the reality though. I agree with half of the statement. Looking at everything in the past couple of seasons, coming off of the last team into this team, I agree that LeBron may be playing some of his best basketball. Is the MVP when you look at collectively the season and other players and what they're doing as well? I don't know about that. But I will say I think he's playing some of his best basketball for one major reason. The reason Magic Johnson is my favorite player of all time is because Magic is number one in making players around him better.
Right.
And finally, we're seeing that LeBron. We're seeing that LeBron on a consistent level that he's taking cats that are either mediocre or on the cuspice of, crossing over to being better. He's making them better. He's making players own up to their names and their contracts. And in that aspect, I will give him that agreement with Wade. He is playing some of his best basketball.
He is playing some of his best basketball. I'm not doubting that. So you're going to agree with D. Wade and say that he's playing his best overall basketball in his entire career this year? You're going to go on record saying that?
I will say that because you know why I will say that? When you look back at when he was playing great and who was playing with him, that matters. You know what I mean? That matters. When he went to Miami, you started that hybrid championship stuff. That hybrid stuff where you got one guy who already got a championship. You got the other top player in the league who was Bosh at the time. And then you're a top player in the league. You put it all together. You had a kind of an easy run. You went to the chip. You didn't get the first one, but then you got him after that. So you kind of put together these easy scenarios. This one here, with the exception of playing with an AD, one piece, and add all those role players around you. Again, the last 2 seasons, you start making people better. So we're looking at the LeBron his numbers are great in assists. His defensive numbers are great in steals and stuff like that, and block shot. And he's getting real blocks this year. I used to always critique LeBron on the little sneaky blocks. Like all those blocks were like bogus because you were coming off the weak side. Like one guy's defending, LeBron's cheating over here and come get that block. Oh, he got 6 blocks. Yeah, but he got 6 blocks on the blind side. There wasn't, I'm D'ing you and get a block. He's getting those now.
Okay, I will say this. To a certain extent, I agree with you, but there's a piece of me that doesn't agree with you on the simple fact being before AD got there, LeBron almost quit on his team mid-season. You know what I mean? And you're still supposed to make the players around you good, whether AD there or not. So I understand what you're saying in some sense.
But we're talking about now. We're talking about now.
Right.
We're not talking about when he almost quit before. You got to make up your mind. You want to talk about now, or you want to talk about when he almost quit?
Now. You're right. That's why I said I'm talking about now.
Right now.
But you said, when in the 3 years when he got there, since you brought
when you put it all together, right? Average wise, from the last year of the last team to right now, he is playing some of his best ball.
Okay, Fig, I'm gonna throw it to you. Would you say that LeBron is playing his best basketball in his career at age 36 right now as a Los Angeles Laker? Would you go on the record and agree with D. Wade with that statement?
Kind of, sort of. I'll tell you this. I'll say he's playing his best basketball skill-wise, because what LeBron James has done, he's developed that 3-point shot to a level of consistency that I haven't seen in previous years. Now add that with his ability to go to the basket, get other players involved and stuff like that. I do think that he's playing better basketball. He's lost some of his athleticism. Like, I know some people won't say that, he's lost some of his explosiveness and athleticism, but overall his game seems to have gotten better. His game has matured. It's followed him, with his age, like Michael Jordan, you know what I mean? Like when he lost his athleticism, he figured out other ways to dominate a game and to be great. So during this regular season, which is still early, I say LeBron James is playing some of the best basketball that I've seen him play. Like he seems well-rounded. He's got the inside, the outside, the assists, making players better. So I say he's playing better basketball than I've seen him play in previous years. Am I going to call him the MVP? I think it's a little too soon for that.
Okay, now since you brought up MVP, it is a little soon, but I'm going to say this right now for the record. I'm going to say this right now. The question to me that I wanted to talk to those guys last night on TNT is, I think, because you even mentioned the statistics of Bradley Beal, I think right now, as we're in, some teams are 25 games in, some teams are 35 games in, some because of the COVID, some team, obviously there's a big discrepancy. But I'm thinking if you averaged out 25 games for every team that's played right now, let's just do that. Bradley Beal should be the lead, hands down MVP. Hands down. It should be statistically speaking.
Let me ask you this. I think where we lose that, I like what Bradley Beal is doing. Don't get me wrong. I'll take Bradley Beal any day, 24/7, 365 days a week. But how is his team doing? You know what I mean?
Hold on. No, you're getting into the question I was going to ask. Hold Hold on. I know what you're saying. Hold on, because my question I was going to throw out to both of you, right? Because is the question, and Fig was just about to hit on that. I think Bradley Beal should be the MVP. Now, Fig, I'm about to give you the floor, and the question I'm going to officially say is, what do we count the MVP, role? And like, if I'm getting ready to hand you the MVP, and since Fig started talking about it, I'm gonna let him cut you real quick. I'm getting ready to pass you. Should we give the MVP to the best players of the team, or should we give the MVP to the best players with the most highest winning record of the league? Because if we do that, then obviously it throws discrepancy thing into the whole system of the MVP. So Fig, go ahead, finish your thought.
I'm gonna stay consistent. I haven't seen the MVP. I haven't seen a player win MVP whose team had a losing record or a team who lost. Like in the season when the Cavaliers played the Golden State Warriors, LeBron James was clearly the best player on the floor on both teams, but he couldn't get the MVP because they didn't win the championship. So, like, to me, my thing is, if your stats don't add up to wins, then you have empty stats. They're like empty calories. If you're playing well and your team is still losing, then how can I say you're the most valuable player in the NBA, but your team is losing? So that's my criteria. You can't be the MVP if your team is losing, and I don't care about your stats if your team is losing. At the end of the game, we play to win. If you're not winning, how can you be the best player?
Well, I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I disagree for several reasons. I think there's a difference in an MVP of a series and an MVP of a season. I think your criteria works, Fig, in a battle in a series. I think when we're viewing at a season of a bunch of teams and we're looking for the MVP of that whole league, the most valuable player shouldn't be determined by the most valuable, the team wins, because then it should be MVP, most valuable on team. If it's most valuable player, you got to look at what they're doing to that team and how valuable they are to that team, not how valuable it makes the team to the league, but the player to the team. Now, when you go in a series, I like what you're saying. I would apply that in a series, a 7-game series, championship series. Obviously, that's probably more times than not going to go to the winning team's best player because it's a battle in this tournament for this championship thing. But a season, people are playing an entire season for all sorts of reasons. They're placing all over the place. But look at how many players, KD on a losing OKC, Harden on a losing Houston Rockets. There's a lot of teams that don't go as far as other teams, and those guys still get MVP because they put that kind of work in that season. Bradley Beal, if the thing ended right now, he's the MVP. There is no argument about who's the MVP of this season if it ended right now. If it ended right now.
Do they have a losing record?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It don't matter.
That's why I don't get, like, it's just like, so if I take Bradley Beal off of Washington, they lose more, like, they already losing. Like, how do I make it? You know what I mean? I think the MVP is like, the MVP to me is like, if I take you off the team, your team can't win. You know what I mean? Like, if I took LeBron James, if I took LeBron James or AD off of the Lakers, they wouldn't be as good. If I take Kawhi Leonard or Paul George off the Clippers, they wouldn't be as good. If I take KD and Kyrie off the Nets, they wouldn't be as good. Like, how do I judge who's valuable if your team is losing anyway?
Fig, should it change? Talent, should it change? I'm gonna throw that out there. Should it change? Because just like what he said, if you take Bradley Beal right now and you put him on the Lakers or a team with a winning record, now he's obviously like according to the criteria of MVP. Now he has to be MVP criteria because he's on a winning team.
Yeah, but that's whack because let me tell you why that's whack. What's whack is if we took every good player who's on a team with other good players, you're gonna get a false MVP all the time because you're already a winning team, Fig. To do what you got, if you take a losing team and you go to play against this great team, and this great team beats you because they're a great team, they got AD, they got LeBron, they got blah, 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 down the list. But this team only has Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal still hands these dudes their ass. He's the MVP, win or lose. He went up against 6 greats, and he's the only great player on his team. He's the most valuable player on the court.
Okay, now
period.
Now let's look at it like this. Let's see what Mr. Rodney Perry is going to say, because now's the time for this segment where we I agree, I disagree, and he's going to either agree with what we're saying or disagree with what we're saying. But one way or the other, he's going to let us know. Because it's his time.
Shouts out to Fig. His hair is looking immaculate once again. I think y'all deliberately go down these roads just to get me riled up. And I'm like, I'm not going to let these guys manipulate me. Bradley Beal, MVP. Wow. Is Bradley Beal even the MVP of the Wizards?
Yep.
Is he the best player on the Wizards? Hell no, Frank. Russell Westbrook is. Everybody know that. And they both losers. You don't get to be MVP on a losing team. Never. There is no way. Well, I'll take that back. I did some research as I was listening to y'all pontificate on this subject. And here goes my soliloquy. The only player in NBA history ever to win an MVP for any reason, whether it was a playoff MVP or a season MVP, is Jerry West, who won in a losing effort. And that was in a playoff effort. There has nobody has ever won MVP he's the most valuable player standing on a pile of shit. Now, if we all stand on Dookie, Brad Beal is the best player standing on Dookie.
That's terrible, right? That's
There
terrible.
is nobody better standing on Dookie than Bradley Beal right now. If Bradley Beal want to be legitimately considered, like, how can you eat? And so, the first conversation is LeBron playing his best basketball? And then we graduate to Bradley Beal is playing better? Are you serious? Like, this is their record. They won 4 games this year. Am I right? Anybody know?
We'll look it up.
Let's stop here.
I disagree.
Let me see what y'all doing. Y'all looking at their last 2 games. Literally the last 2 games. Y'all watch them beat the Nets, and y'all watch them play a great game last night. But that's it. That's a small sample size. So you saying if we voted right now, Bradley Beal is the MVP of the league, not Giannis, not Topo, not LeBron James? What? Y'all can't be. I must be in another world. Am I in a different universe? Am I in a different universe?
Absolutely.
Y'all cannot be serious.
Absolutely.
I mean, LeBron James playing his best basketball, but not really. What? I mean, the guy's 36 years old. He shoots the 3. He's shooting a 3 more efficiently than he has in his whole career right now. He's shooting a 3 at like a 60% clip. That's great. He's still explosive. They say a Fig say he lost a step. He lost a step?
A little bit.
Well, if this way he played with a step loss, I don't even see. Yeah, you know what? Y'all mess with me. Y'all punking me. Y'all punking me. And then somebody said, well, what about when LeBron quit on this team? When? When he quit on this team? When he first got to the Lakers and he got injured for the first time in his career, he quit on this team? Maybe so.
He had a package problem.
Man never had an injury his whole career. He had 1 injury, but he quit on his team. Y'all be doing this stuff just so y'all can. Let's get Rodney riled up because we want to see if we can get Rodney Perry to have a heart attack on the air.
Hey, Mr. Perry, Karl Malone, Allen Iverson, they never got a chip. Derrick Rose never got a chip. Russell Westbrook never got a chip. James Harden never got a chip. The Greek Freak never got a chip. All MVPs. Get the hell out of here.
No, those are two different MVPs, T.
You talking about something else.
Yeah.
No, there's an MVP in the regular season and then one in the finals.
Right.
No. We're talking about right now. We're talking about the league.
You looked up the wrong stat. You looked up people with MVPs. You talking people that had a losing record. Look that up. It's one person with a losing record that won an MVP. Period.
Yeah, but all
Jerry
that team
West.
had
There's nobody else.
But this is all. See, first of all, y'all getting lost. This is all hypothetical because we're not done with the season. We're hypothetically saying off of the play of the people who would get the MVP right now to happen today. Right?
Yeah, because
stop it. Yeah.
Because let me just say this. Because after
you
25 games,
the Wizards to go on a winning streak.
Hold on. Because after 25 games, statistically speaking, Bradley Beal is tied with Michael Jordan for the most points per game. No, in NBA history, there's no one who scored more points in that short span of time. And if he did that same year, Michael Jordan, he was considered for MVP, but obviously he didn't win because the Bulls didn't have a winning record that year. Okay. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
So again, niggas that lose don't get the MVP. I mean, hey, maybe I can put it. Maybe I got to put it in layman's terms. I don't care how good you is. We talking about Van Fleet. The only reason we talking about Van Fleet because he was on a winning team. Van Fleet. The reason you know his name because they was winning in Toronto. He was up there for years.
Yeah.
Van Fleet didn't just get there. He was there. Van who? Van what? They start winning. All of a sudden, we talking about Van Fleet. Nobody cares. If you lose, nobody gives a shit.
Should it change? Because there are a lot of NBA players.
No. Let's also give a trophy to all the little kids that playing pickup that lose. Here, little kid. I know you didn't win, but we giving everybody a trophy. No.
I hate that.
We're not going to start that.
I hate participation trophies, man. You can't get a trophy for participating.
But that's not what I'm saying.
You the MVP, little kid.
I'm not saying participation trophy. I'm saying if you're balling out more than anybody in the league, statistically speaking, you're leading the league in points, leading the league in assists, leading the league in block shots, leading the league in defense, and you're doing everything you're doing, but your team is losing. Why can't you
the award
MVP?
Look.
The award for scoring a lot and still losing goes to Bradley Beal. Go ahead, Bradley. Let's see.
Do you know why? Do you know why that guy never gets that award?
No, I know why.
Because there's always a guy who is valuable to a team that wins, and that's why the guy on the losing team, even though he's valuable to his team, that's why he never wins, because there's always a guy on the winning team that's most valuable to his team.
Can I get my acceptance speak, please?
Like Giannis, you know what I mean? Those guys that won. Those guys win MVP records because they're most valuable to a winning team.
I want to thank
y'all for this gas can, because I was hot, I was scoring, and I couldn't help my team win, but I did score a lot because I'm an individual. I don't know how to play team ball. I was scoring a lot. I don't know how to win. I don't know how to inspire people to make them win either. So I can just score good by myself. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for the gas, guys. Oh, and it's full too. Thanks.
I got 4 words for you: chitty, chitty, bang, bang. Dick Van Dyke, Van Vliet.
Somebody tell Talent this is a family show. Somebody tell he ain't getting that memo. You can't be saying chitty chitty and describing it as a swear word.
That's a movie. Chitty chitty bang bang.
Bradley Beal is dope, but he is not the best player on the Wizards.
Yes, he is. Statistically, he is. Yes, he is.
He's not the best player on the Wizards.
He is.
He's not. Frank, he's not.
We gonna have this argument later. Okay, let's move on with the conversation because we can go back and forth. He is. He's not. He is. For 20 minutes, we can do that. Let me go this out.
Player on the Wizards. How is the MVP of the league?
Let me say this. The NBA now is moving forward, right, with the NBA All-Star Game. The NBA Players Association, the NBA, they all have agreed March 7th. Now, on the flip side of that, okay, the NBA now is having a stricter rule for NBA players wearing masks and contact before the game, which to me is, I don't know anything more contradictory in the world, if you ask me. They're tightening rules, they're tightening up, movement behind the scenes and everything else, but they're still moving forward with the NBA All-Star Game. That's number one. Number two, the NBA is also getting ready. They're having talks about moving forward with the three-point contest and everything else, which is, of course, giving more risk for more players. Talon, I'm going to start with you. Does this sound contradictory to you? Does it sound like a money grab? When you hear all this news right now thrown at you, what the NBA is doing for March 7th, NBA All-Star Game, what's the first thought that jumps out at your mind when you hear all that, Talon?
First thing jump out is a money grab. It's a money grab. The NBA is in bed with a lot of huge sponsors, television mostly, commercial sponsors, and they need as much TV ticks as they can get. And what more TV ticks do you get than an NBA All-Star Weekend? So it makes all the sense in the world for the money grab. It doesn't make sense when you tell me I'm going to do tighter protocols, because if there was any way to do tighter protocols, wouldn't you do the tightest protocol going into COVID?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And then it puts more of their players at risk by having an NBA All-Star Game, which I don't think they should even have, if you ask me. Rodney Perry, what's your thought?
You said it.
Rodney Perry, what's your thought?
People are trying to move and shake like the world is normal, and it's just not normal. I think they should give these guys, they should stand down for that week, let these guys recoup and get better, and then take a run and get to the bubble again, and just get them the time off, get to the bubble, and don't worry about the MVP. That's what I think should happen.
Listen, Fig, I'll say this. It's in Atlanta, right? And we all know how hotbed Atlanta is right now, too. So when you hear this, the All-Star Game is happening in Atlanta for 3 spread out days. And like what Rodney Perry said, they're trying to act like we in a normal world right now. We're not in a normal world. You bring in the best stars in the in the NBA to the hotbed. What you thought? What you think? Fig, you there?
In Atlanta?
Yes.
Oh
in
my
Atlanta.
God! I didn't know that. Listen, you know what I said before? I was like, if you're gonna do an All-Star Game, I think you should do it in a bubble. If you're gonna have a couple of fans or whatever, get those dogs. You know what I mean? And let the COVID sniffing dogs and let them sniff out a couple of fans. You know what I mean? And limit it. Because at the end of the day, this is America, and America is always about the money grab, and it's always about business first. It's a corporation. It's about the business. And in order for these players to qualify for the salaries and the money that they make, the NBA has to make money too, because it's pretty much like a give and take. Like they're splitting the money. So in order for these players to make the money, the league has to make the money, and the All-Star Game is a major part of that money. It's almost like your retail stores. Christmas is the biggest time of the year for them to make all the money that they make to say that they're in the black. Like you could be in a red in a business, and then Christmas season put you in a black. It's the same thing with the Super Bowl, and it's the same thing with NBA All-Star Game. It's a money grab. That's how you qualify for the money.
If we had bells, you would have heard a couple of bells. Like I would have been like ding 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 ding, because Fig just said it literally is Christmas for them, for the NBA. They literally gonna do that. Now let me throw this out there to you all. Same thing, same conversation. Check this out. Phoenix, because even though we talk about NBA All-Star Week and everything else, Phoenix is literally opening up and allowing more than half their fans in the stadium starting February 7th. Phoenix, like here's again contradictory. The NBA is sending all these mixed signals. Phoenix is letting more than half their fans in the stadium starting February 7th. Guess what? It's February 3rd. We're talking about the NBA All-Star Game. We're talking about them having it, not having it. Meanwhile, Phoenix is getting ready to allow all their fans. Talent. It sounds like another hotbed to me. What you think?
And my slave voice. Now y'all know y'all shouldn't be doing that. Get on from around here. What are these? What the hell, dude? That's next
Why the
week.
white dude in the back looking at you though? Why
Are you kidding me? That's next week.
Yeah, it's in a couple of days, bro. It's literally 4 days away.
Okay, we did this thing where we did the numbers of a stadium. So the average stadium is right under 40,000. You telling me you're gonna start letting 20,000 people in a in an indoor stadium situation to see? Man, I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what's gonna happen, right? A lot of cancellations going in and out of Phoenix. And nobody gonna play the Suns.
Yeah, that's exactly
Suns only gonna get to play on the road. Trust.
Yeah, I believe that. Rodney Perry, what's your thoughts?
Hey man, get ready to just get some tissue, brother. Some Lysol. It's going down. If they tell us what they're about to do, they already made the decision. It's done.
Yeah. There's nothing you can do.
You can't take it away. Somebody got to lead the way back to normalcy, and they trying to do that. But hopefully, you don't see one of those super spreader events because of it.
They're moving too fast, too quick right now, and it's about to be a huge super spreader event in 2 spots, in Atlanta and in Phoenix. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm gonna say like this. For February, I'm gonna say 2 things. February, you watch the surge in COVID cases in February. I'm saying that right now. I'm going on the record today. You're going to see a major surge in COVID cases in February. And number 2, if family members were contracting the COVID for having Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners, which is about 10 people in a home, family members, what do you think is going to happen in a stadium with 20,000 people? What do you think the potential could happen? That's like pouring gasoline on a fire. That doesn't make any sense. That's crazy.
Bradley, you got the gasoline. Let me go get it.
You stupid. Well, you know what? They might as well start bullshitting and let Trump speak at the game. we going back to those super spreaders. We might as well.
And Rodney Perry brings in the gasoline. Oh man, yo.
I want to thank my mama, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because I couldn't get this MVP award. Well, first of all, I haven't won any games, but that's beside the point. I do score a lot.
Y'all, that's Rodney Perry, y'all. Anyway, that's the show. Tell everybody out there how they can follow you, man. Because I know you're traveling, man. Tell everybody how they follow you.
Hey man, check me out. It's going down. You can check me out on It's Just Comedy on Twitter, and check me out King Talent on Facebook today.
Yo, be safe out there, talent. In case y'all can't tell, talent is out there moving around, moving and shaking Super Bowl weekend. Be safe out there, my brother. Be safe out there. Of course, everybody, tell everybody out there they can follow you, Rodney Perry.
You can follow me by checking with those 2 white guys behind talent. They know where I am. RodneyPerry.com is the website. Rodney Perry Live, all social media. Big ups to all y'all that follow my YouTube page, man. The page is growing.
Fig, tell me about it.
Oh, he does. He's scaring people away.
You want to follow talent, you better buy a plane ticket. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me right here at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms. And if you can't find me there Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m., baby, I'm on the box seats. The best damn sports show on TV.
Let me thank all my people out here. Let me thank Rodney Perry for joining the show. Let me thank Fig for joining the show. Let me thank Talent for joining the show. We appreciate you all for joining the show. I'm your host, Frank Holder. It's a show called Box Seats. We are on every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. We're also on the Humor Mill TV channel from 2 to 3. And you know what? We come on every day at the exact same time. We're on an app that you can download, all that, and then some. Tell your friends, all that. We got some great things in store. So let's just get ready to keep this ball rolling on. Thank you for watching the Box Seats. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.